My name is Rosa Martinez and I am 32 years old. Right now I am sitting in my car outside my family home, still in shock from what just happened at our Christmas dinner. After years of supporting my family financially and emotionally, my mother stood up at the dinner table and announced, "Don't come to any family events, we are cutting you off." I calmly replied, "Okay, I understand," but then my grandmother asked, "Is that why she stopped paying back the $500,000 loan?" The whole room went dead silent. If you have ever felt betrayed by your family, please subscribe and let me know in the comments where you are watching from. I have always been the odd one out in my family. The first to graduate college, the first to start my own business, the first to move away from our small town in Michigan. My journey wasn't easy, but I had one person who always believed in me, my grandmother, Elena. After my father left when I was 7, Grandma Elena stepped in to help raise me, while my mother Janet worked 2 jobs to keep a roof over our heads. Growing up, I watched my mother struggle with money. The constant stress of overdue bills, the arguments with creditors over the phone, the nights she would come home exhausted counting pennies at the kitchen table. I promised myself I would never live that way. I studied hard in scholarships and worked multiple jobs throughout college. By 25, I had built a successful marketing consultancy that specialized in helping small businesses. 3 years later, my company expanded to 3 major cities. As my business grew, so did my ability to help my family. It started with small things, paying off my mother's credit card debt, or buying new appliances when the old ones broke down. Then came bigger expenses, helping my brother Adam with his down payment on a house, covering my sister Diana's wedding costs, paying tuition for my cousins. I never minded, having grown up with so little. Being able to provide for my family felt like the ultimate success. My grandmother was always proud of me, but cautious about how much I gave. "Family is important, Rosa, but you need to take care of yourself too," she would say during our weekly phone calls. I always brushed off her concerns. These people were my blood, how could helping them ever be wrong? 2 years ago, my mother called me in tears. The family home, the one my grandmother had purchased 50 years ago, was at risk of foreclosure. Additionally, she had business idea, a small bakery that could finally give her financial independence. All she needed was $500,000. It was a substantial amount even for me. But I couldn't bear the thought of my family losing their home. The home where I had grown up, where my grandmother still lived in the converted garage apartment. I transferred the money with a simple repayment plan, low interest, flexible timeline. My mother hugged me tightly and promised this would change everything. While it seemed like it had, the bakery opened to great local reviews. My mother seemed happier than I had seen her in years. She made small, regular payments on the loan for the first 6 months. My Aunt Margaret, always critical of my success, even warmed up to me at family gatherings. My brother Adam, who had been distant since I helped fund his house, started calling me regularly again. My sister Diana invited me to dinner with her husband. Family reunions became more frequent, and I was always invited, always expected to bring the expensive wine and gifts. This Christmas was supposed to be special. I had bought thoughtful gifts for everyone, a first edition book for my literature-loving brother, a spa package for my sister, cooking classes for my aunt and for my mother, a beautiful locket containing a photo of her with her own mother, my grandmother Elena. For Grandma herself, I had commissioned an artist to paint a portrait of her childhood home in Puerto Rico from an old photograph she treasured. I was excited about the gathering despite the nagging worry that my mother had missed her loan payments for the past 3 months. She kept saying business was slow in the winter and I didn't press the issue. Family was family, money was just money, at least that's what I thought, until this Christmas day, when everything I believed about my family was turned upside down. Looking back, there were warning signs I chose to ignore. The subtle change in how my mother spoke to me on the phone, more demanding and less grateful. The way my aunt would whisper to my sister when I entered a room. My brother's sudden questions about my business and whether I was planning to sell it someday. Even my grandmother had tried to warn me last month, asking if I was Sure, my mother was using the loan money responsibly, but I had been too busy, too trusting, too eager to maintain the peace to see what was happening right under my nose. As I pulled up to my mother's house this Christmas morning, I had no idea that by dinner time I would be sitting in my car alone, tears streaming down my face. Finally seeing my family for who they really were. The beautiful brick house was decorated with expensive new Christmas lights that seemed to have gone up overnight, twinkling mockingly at me as I parked my car and gathered the carefully wrapped presents. Little did I know that the true gift of this Christmas would be a painful but necessary awakening. I arrived at 10:00 in the morning, 3 hours before dinner was scheduled to begin. I always came early to help my mother prepare the meal. Tradition we had maintained even after I moved away. The front door was unlocked, so I let myself in, calling out cheerfully, "Merry Christmas, I'm here to help with the cooking." The house smelled wonderful, like cinnamon and roasting turkey, but my mother's response was anything but warm. She emerged from the kitchen, wiping her hands on a dish towel, her expression tightening when she saw me. "You are early," she said flatly. "I always come early to help," I replied, confused by her tone. "Remember, we always make the stuffing together. I already made the stuffing," she said, turning back toward the kitchen. "Aunt Margaret is helping me this year." I followed her into the kitchen where my aunt was rolling out pie crust. She barely looked up when I entered. "Merry Christmas, Aunt Margaret," I said, setting down my purse on the counter. She responded, focusing intently on the dough. I opened the refrigerator, looking for the cranberry sauce I had offered to make. "I will get started on the cranberry sauce. Diana brought some already," my mother said, "the fancy kind from that specialty store." Oh, I closed the refrigerator door, feeling suddenly useless in the kitchen that had always been my domain during family gatherings. "Is there anything else I can help with?"